Alright, what's going on? Full Quarter Sportscast. All the subscribers, viewers, if you're new, man, please make sure you subscribe. Best way to support the channel is to click that subscribe button. At 75 right now, so that 25 more to 100, another milestone, and then we're just gonna keep it going from there. Stay locked in with us on the social medias. I'll drop those down like I always do. We got the Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and then yeah, and if you want to subscribe, click that bell so you can stay notified when we drop new videos. And if we have any live streams, things of that nature. But now that we got all that out the way, we're gonna get into some NBA stuff today. I did have some stuff, jotted down that I wanted to get into specifically. But I was supposed to record this video like 2 days ago, so I know off the top, other sports related news. We got the NFL Combine, I believe, started today. Some news about Matthew Stafford and Tom Brady having a meeting. Potentially Stafford is on the move. I believe LA did give him and his agent permission to seek a trade or weigh his options. So we'll see how that goes. Tom Brady's doing his job, and he's in the front office with the Raiders now, so he's trying to get somebody to come play quarterback there. Gervonta Davis, from the boxing fans, he's gonna fight this Saturday, March 1st, against Roach. I believe they're fighting in New York, if I'm not mistaken. What's her name? Deanna Taurasi, I believe, in WNBA. She just retired. I think she was like 20 years in, so definitely shout out to her for the WNBA fans. And I believe the Pistons are on an 8-game win streak as we transition into the NBA stuff. And then also, MLB is also kicking back up with spring training right now. So that's another thing, for the baseball fans. We're going to try to dive into some of that content as well. But, start off with the NBA stuff, man. This is not even, one of the topics I had planned for y'all today. But we're just going to talk about the Pistons because that happened last night. I believe they beat the Celtics. And, man, like I said, they're on an 8-game win streak. I believe they currently are the 6th seed right now in the East. And Detroit's hot. They hot right now. I believe they probably got the longest winning streak in the league. Cade Cunningham is playing out of his mind right now. But they also, Malik Beasley is a good addition for them. Duren, he's a young guy at the center holding it down. They got one of the Thompson bros. So they just hooping over there in Detroit right now. And I believe this their longest win streak in 20 years, if I'm not mistaken. So, Detroit Pistons have been in the gutter for a little minute, and they doing their thing right now. Shout out to Detroit. But yeah, man, let's get into these topics I got actually planned for the video today. So I wanted to go over, the Timberwolves and they 25-point comeback over OKC. We're gonna talk about some Jimmy Butler and the Warriors. We got to talk about some Lakers and Luka Doncic. We're gonna talk about Zion Williamson. We're going to talk about the Suns and KD, and then we're going to end it with Philly and Joel Embiid. So, the Timberwolves, man, like I said, they had a comeback against the Thunder. They outscored them 41-19 in the fourth quarter. Jaden McDaniels had 27 points, 10 rebounds. Naz Reid, 22 points and 11 rebounds. Naz Reid has been hooping since Julius Randle been on the bench. Or not on the bench, but, he's been out with injury. Honestly, I think they probably need to keep Naz Reid in that starting lineup because he's due for an extension. I mean, he's set to hit free agency this offseason, but he's probably going to sign a deal with the Timberwolves. So, I mean, he's your future. I don't really think Julius Randle is included in the future plans for them. So, I wouldn't, I would have Randle come off the bench, honestly. And then Ant-Man had 17 points, 13 rebounds, 8 assists. Ant-Man actually sat most of the fourth quarter because he suffered a lower leg injury. And Rudy Gobert also missed the game with back spasms. Of course, Randle was out, like I just alluded to, with he has a groin injury. SGA finished with 39 points. All-Star Jalen Williams had 27. Chet did not play this game due to rest, and Hartenstein left in the second quarter after a bloody nose. So, what y'all think about that matchup? Because that's a potential playoff matchup. The Timberwolves are towards the bottom of the West right now. We know the Thunder are the 1 seed. But on the season, man, that season series is tied to a piece, this season. The Timberwolves think they can have some success in the postseason against the Thunder. When asked about it, Nas Reed said 100%. He says, I think the score is even now, as Nikhil would say. Hopefully we get a chance to see them in the playoffs. Minnesota's coach Chris Finch game plan leaves the Thunder with some things to think about. Because, towards the end of the game, they really was just trapping and forcing the ball out of SGA hands. And, the role players or the other guys weren't making open shots. And, that led to the comeback late in the game. And Chris Finch said, he thinks sometimes when other players haven't been involved in the game very much, it's hard for them to rise up and make shots down the stretch. So, 2-2 on the season, with the top seed in the West, it's definitely not going to show a fear from, Minnesota to play them guys if they end up matched up in the playoffs. That just lets you know that, we can match up with them. Minnesota's currently 7th in the West right now. So, it's very much possible that, things could shake out that way. Chris Finch also has some stuff to say about SGA and, it's the frustration that comes with playing the Thunder. He said, it's frustrating to play this team because they foul a ton. He said they really do. They foul all the time, and then you really can't touch Shea, and it's a very frustrating thing, and it takes a lot of mental toughness to try to play through it, and we just eventually were able to get down here and force the issue ourselves, and we were rewarded for it. And, everybody who watched the Thunder, you can see Shea is, man, he's getting the free throw merchant chance. I'm not mad at a guy for getting to the line or, how he scores his points. But the numbers do show, Chris Finch has a point, and especially about the Thunder actually fouling a lot. I believe they tied for third in personal fouls this game with an average of 20.5 per night. And, they also back up the fact that SGA has attempted the second most free throws per game of any player in the league this season, shooting about 9 shots from the foul line every night. So, OKC played physical. That results in a lot of fouls. And, Shea's getting downhill. He's drawing fouls. So, that's resulting in a lot of free throws. So, that's just the game plan. Just you got to come to the game knowing for them. But, hell of a comeback by Minnesota. And, like I said, I'm looking forward to see that in the playoff series. Ant versus Shea, that's must-see basketball right there. So, y'all let me know what y'all think. Who y'all think would, come out on top in that series, man. So moving on to, let's go to Golden State with Jimmy Butler now. Jimmy Butler has some things to say about this Golden State organization. He actually said some quite positive things about him. He says he feels like this is the best organization he's played in. Directly, he said he does feel like this organization is better than any other organization he's been a part of. I'm telling you, it's different this time. I haven't sensed the same feeling he's had when he went to Philly and we went to Miami. And, this is different for Jimmy Butler going to Golden State. He's staying late for shoot-arounds. He's staying late for practices. He's spending so much time in the training room, the meal room. He's going above and beyond to integrate himself with the Warriors right now. And I would say he's doing the right thing. It's going well for them because they're 6-1 with Butler. They're currently up to the 8th seed in the West. And even him coming on the team is doing wonders for Curry because since February 5th, the day of the trade, Curry has gone for 32 points, 37 points, and then you get to Jimmy Butler's first game, Curry went for 34 points. The next game, 38. He had a total of 25 in a game of 30. Mind you, some of these games they're not even playing in the fourth quarter. Due to the schedule they play. They play some weaker teams, so they're kind of blowing people out. And Curry don't even have to play in the fourth. The starter's not even playing. So, it's another team, like I was just saying, bro, you really can't duck nobody in the West this year. It's going to be tough matchups because who really want to see Golden State with a team with championship experience like that as a lower seed? Typically when you play an 8 seed, you think of them as like, okay, that's a sweet matchup first round. We worked all season to get, the 1 seed so we can play a weaker team. But you got the Warriors at 8, the Timberwolves at 7, you got the Mavs at 9, Kings at 10, and the Suns are right there at 11. So, you're really not going to be able to hide nowhere in the West this year. So, like I said, when they got Jimmy Butler, I don't think it's a championship now move. It is a championship now move, but I don't see them as a contender. But, the way they're flowing, I still wouldn't really necessarily want to match up with them if I was OKC in the first round. So, it'll be interesting to see once they start playing a little bit better competition to see like what they really got, So, that'll be interesting. All right. Moving on to the Lakers. Luka, LeBron, Austin Reeves, man. I love talking about the Lakers. So, You know, like I said, I was supposed to be recording this video, so let's get to the Nuggets game. Of course, we all know the struggles the Lakers have had with the Nuggets. The Nuggets have absolutely owned the Lakers. Put them out the playoffs twice, swept them in the Western Conference Finals, gentleman sweep last year in the first round. But if you watch, man, the Lakers are there with them every time. It's just little things here and there, you know. And I think JJ Redick showed, you know, those little things are coaching. Some of it matchup dependent. I think Luka kind of offsets Jokic's production a little better than AD would due to like his ability to get assists and just his gravity on the floor. So, like I said, you know, the Lakers did end up beating the Nuggets in Denver. That ended a 9-game winning streak. They ended the Nuggets' 9-game winning streak and snapped the 8-game skid at Ball Arena for the Lakers. The last time the Lakers beat the Nuggets in a regular season contest on Denver's home floor was April 10th, 2022. Before the game, you know, Lakers coach JJ Redick challenged Doncic before the game to get wrapped up in the competition. And he has a blackout episode where he starts yelling into the heat of battle, you know, where Luka, he gets hype, he starts yelling like JJ Redick he needs that to come out of him, you know. LeBron had 25 points. He was 11 for 19, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 blocks. Austin Reeves, 23 points, 7 assists. Rui Hachimura, 21 points, 4 assists. So the people who need to put the ball in the basket, they're doing it, you know. And then the Lakers are playing defense, which we'll get to a little bit later. And you know, talking about Luka again, you know, comfortable with the team and, you know, what they can do to make it better for him. JJ Redick says, I think Luka needs to be the guy that controls the offense and Bron and AR, because we're going to get strong. We're going to stagger everybody. They're going to have their times to be on the ball. But all three of those guys are very intelligent basketball players, and we can create mismatches. We can get teams in the blender. LeBron, who was the beneficiary of a full-court outlet pass from Doncic to score on a streak and dunk a couple of possessions in the game, he also backed JJ Redick's plan by saying, you know, I'm a natural-born wide receiver, and he's a natural-born quarterback, so it fits perfectly. When asked about, you know, the team's goal after the game, Luka says, I think our goal is, not I think, I know our goal is to win a championship, Lucas. And then he says that's our only goal, and I think we have the team for that. You know, Luka, that game, he finished with 32 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 steals. The Lakers had a beautiful game plan on Jokic. He only took 7 shots, 12 points, 13 rebounds, 10 assists. He had 8 points off of free throws, and he also finished the game with 6 turnovers. So, like I said, the game plan for those who watched the game was just marvelous. For those who didn't watch the game, the Lakers basically put 3 bodies on Jokic, put all defensive tension on Jokic. They was picking him up full court, denying him the ball, denying him, you know, access to even get around the court without the ball as much as they could legally. And they just challenged guys like Aaron Gordon and Russell Westbrook to hit shots. And for the most part, you know, they was hitting a little bit, but, you know, it was just to let everybody else beat your type of game plan. And Jokic, you know, of course, in the 7-game series, I'm pretty sure he would play, you know, better than this. But it just wasn't the game plan that the Lakers previously have shown against the Nuggets, so it probably caught him off guard. You know, Mike Malone actually said that he got out-coached and they got outplayed. So that was interesting for him. And then, you know, so then the Lakers transitioned into their last game against the Mavs, and, you know, the storyline around that was basically Luka and Nico Harrison and the Mavs, AD, et cetera, et cetera. Nico Harrison and the Mavs are still putting stuff up about Luka, about them not liking his beer intake and his hookah. I mean, at this point, like, the trade is done. Like, just leave it alone. I mean, AD has come out and spoke about the trade and said he doesn't buy it. Nobody knew. I mean, like, this trade happened a month ago. At this point, we need to move on. Like, we just need to move on. But, you know, before the game, I think it came out that sources said a beast inside Luka was awakened after leaks about his weight and conditioning. And it looked like it was a beast because out there on the floor in the game, you know, he had 19 points, 15 rebounds, 12 assists, 2 blocks, and 3 steals. Kyrie Irving had 35 points. Klay had 22. He was 5 of 10 from the three-point line. But in the end, you know, in the fourth quarter, LeBron pretty much wrapped it up. I believe he had 14 or 16 points in the fourth quarter. And, you know, he pretty much closed it out for the Lakers to get a win over the Mavs. He finished with 27 points, 12 rebounds, and Austin Reeves chipped in 20 points as well. So, yeah, man, the Lakers are, you know, currently the 5th seed right now. They're kind of going back and forth with the Rockets in the 4th and 5th seed just due to, like, games or percentage, you know, stuff like that. But, JJ Redick definitely should be, in my opinion, in consideration for Coach of the Year. Um, it's just the little stuff he's doing. It's not necessarily like it's not other coaches out there with better records, but I just feel like for him to be a first year guy and he's getting the buy-in of the team. The Lakers are like the top defense efficiency team right now, and that's been not right like in the last 15 games or something like that. I have to do a double check on that, and they're top 5 in the offensive efficiency as well. So whenever you have a team that's top 5 in both of those categories, that's usually the makings of a title contender. I think the Lakers are a contender. I was saying when they got Luka, it's a future move, but I wouldn't discount now. I think even the lack of size for them with the center position is not really shown to be a problem quite yet, and I feel like they're a contender. But moving on to the next topic, we're gonna talk about Zion. Of course, to talk about Zion is really, since he's been in the league, has been surrounded about his weight. From the moment Zion was drafted in 2019, the conversation around his, like I said, has been around his weight. It's been narratives around his game. The conversation about him is not even so much about his on court performance, more so than the things he has going on off the court. According to a 2022 report by Will Galori, I believe, of The Athletic, the star forward even has a weight clause in his contract. And these things get out, and people talk about it. And Shannon Sharp had something to say about it on Nightcap, I believe. He says the only thing that is sustainable is self-motivation, because you only get so much money, and then it won't move you. Sharp said, LeBron James played like he ain't have a dime. Michael Jordan played like he didn't have a dime. At what point, how much money do I need? I just hope he gets it and says, you know what? Damn it, enough of this. This is embarrassing. I'm a professional athlete, and these people got to put clauses in my contract. I'm making $200 million, and they got to incentivize it just so I can get that. Let that sink in. So that brings me to the current time report. According to Michael C. Wright of ESPN, Zion has got his weight down to 264, which is the lightest he's been since he's been drafted by the Pelicans. So, I guess he's making an effort to keep the weight down. I agree with Shannon Sharp, though, like he said. At some point, it got to be on yourself. It can't be on the organization. It can't be on nobody around you. Like, keep your weight down if that's what's required, because you are the franchise. You are number 1 pick. When you on the floor, you shown to be, phenomenal. You shown to be all world. Nobody can stop Zion when he's healthy, but he's off the floor too much. I don't know if he necessarily wants to be in New Orleans. Some people say the Pelicans would be better to trade him, but it's like not everybody looks at their superstar how Dallas looked at Luka. Some people know, like in a small market like the Pelicans, like that's all they have is Zion. If they just trade Zion, who they gonna sell tickets? Like who you going to see? You just got rid of Brandon Ingram, and he really wasn't moving no tickets for real. C.J. McCollum, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, like people not really buying tickets to see those guys. They going to see Zion. He's the franchise, so Zion has to take it on himself. And if he's not going to take that responsibility, then the Pelicans should get rid of him or trade him. But I think Zion's still only like 24 years old, man. He's still young. He still got time to get it right. I just hope he does get it right, because he's too talented, to not be on the floor. Okay, moving on. Phoenix Suns, man. Phoenix just can't get right. Sitting at 27-31 right now, currently 11 in the West. We heard a lot of different reports about Phoenix. We just start off with Ramona from, I believe, ESPN, Ramona Shelburne. She came out and actually said the locker room was toxic, I believe, around the trade deadline. Kevin Durant actually came out and rebutted that. He said, I try to tell people who aren't around the game this much is that it's easy to say our locker room is not connected when you come in here 45 minutes before and the guys are in game mode and not talking to each other. There's been reports or rumors floating around that Kevin Durant and Devin Booker's relationship has been strained by trade rumors, and the Suns struggle to win. Like I said, Kevin Durant was being floated around to be traded at the trade deadline. I think he rejected the trade back to Golden State. and he was on Draymond Green podcast. I guess he was saying, he just wanted to control his own path. I guess he said something like he comes with too much or something like it comes with, I don't know, something like the team got to give up too much to get him. And he basically just didn't want an in-season trade. He didn't want to have to make that transition in the middle of the season. I think the Suns are pretty much already going to get rid of him at the end of the season. Like, it's already seeming like that's the path moving going forward. It just hasn't really worked with the Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, big three. With the way the NBA has, the salary cap and the apron set up, they can't really put much around those guys. I don't know. They've already tried to fire in the coach route. They've been through some coaches. I think they messed up from the get-go by even getting Bradley Beal. I really thought that Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton with those, Devin Booker and Kevin Durant was the better route to go and just get role players around those guys, because Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant are kind of redundant as far as skill set base. They can play off ball, but they better more so with the ball in their hands. So you don't really need three of those guys that want to ISO. They can go get you 30. Bradley Beal's not really producing for the value of his contract, and then they've had injury issues, so it's not really working out. They made the playoffs last year. They got swept in the first round. They're not looking like they're going to make the playoffs this year. Like I said, they're 4 games under 500 at the 11th seed. They're out to play in. The next seed, the Kings are 30-28 right now, so they would need some help. So yeah, I think KD this offseason is going to be somewhere different, somewhere else. And whether we like to admit it or not about Kevin Durant, he's an all-time great player, Hall of Famer. He's 2-time champion. All the accolades, but he's always going to have that narrative around him of trying to get that championship without Golden State. And I think he's trying to do that, but the situation's just having to align with that motive. Like Brooklyn, and now Phoenix is just not really working out with that. So we'll see. Y'all comment down below where y'all want to see Kevin Durant, which I think a good fit for him. With that championship goal in mind, where y'all think he could possibly end up. Then we'll wrap it up here with Paul George and the 76ers. Joel Embiid, they just another team kind of struggling right now, but for a little bit different reasons. Paul George came out and said he's quitting taking a break from the podcast and to focus on pursuing a championship. Oddly enough, the 76ers are 12th in the East right now, not even in the play-in. I think they've lost like 8 straight, something like that. But Paul George had these things to say. He said, we've shown no sign of a team that will compete. We just don't have the habits of a champion or a playoff contending team would have. To be honest, right now, it's a little far-fetched to think we can make the playoffs. All we can do is work hard and try to keep going for one another. Like I said, they lost 7 consecutive games. They like I said, they just got little room for margin right now to even try to get in the playoffs. And it's brought up a conversation. Should they just shut it down with Joel Embiid, because he's like, we know the thing with Joel Embiid. He's been banged up. He's missed 38 games this season, I believe. He has a nagging knee injury. They've been trying to shoot the knee up. It's just not working. Nothing they're doing is working with it. Like I said, and another reason for them to shut it down is they have a first round pick this year that will go to the Thunder if it falls outside the top 6. So it's a top 6 protected pick, which means like I said, if it's in the top 6, 1 through 6, it will stay with Philly. If it falls out of the top 6, it will go over to OKC. So that's more of a reason to just sit your guys down, because you want to try to get the best chances to keep that pick. Currently, right now, they have a 45.8% chance to keep that top 6 pick per tankathon. And like I said, man, it's looking more and more likely that they're gonna sit Joel Embiid out for the rest of the season, or have him get surgery, whatever it is. It's rough right now. Per Shams from ESPN, like I said, current routine of knee injections treatment is just not helping. He's set to undergo further tests on his knee this week to determine the best plan forward. Though everybody is really easy to see what Philly should do regardless of what the tests say. So do y'all think 76ers to trade Joel Embiid? I mean, it's kind of like what I said with Zion. You know, these guys, they don't want to give up on a star, but Joel Embiid hasn't shown the ability to sustain a long playoff run or go on a deep push because he's not healthy. You got Tyrese Maxey over there. I just think this is another mistake by a team bringing in Paul George with that 4-year, $211 million deal. Like, he's not worth that, in my opinion. He's a good player. Excuse me. He can be useful for a championship team. He can be useful for any team, but his days of getting paid that type of money and giving you that type of production are behind him, in my opinion. You know, the injuries have gotten to him. I don't know. They're not going nowhere unless Joel Embiid is whole. And I keep saying, you know, I don't understand why he played in the Olympics and then he comes back to the regular season and, you know, he's hurt. Like, we saw Kawhi make the decision to go back because at the end of the day, I mean, you owe it to your country, but you still are part of an organization that's paying you daily. Like, that's your job. And, you know, to go play in the Olympics and then come back unhealthy for the regular season, you know, you just getting by. It's kind of like a slap in the face to the organization a little bit. And I don't know how they would take that. I'm sure Joel Embiid will have trade suitors if he is available. But I don't know. It's kind of rough right now for me to see what they really want to do with him. We'll have to see what's going on there further. Now, I know I said I was wrapping up, but I just scrolled to the bottom of my notes. I actually had one more thing I wanted to touch on, which was the New York Knicks. Knicks currently sitting at third in the East right now, 38-20. You know, they got a real nice lineup. I like the additions they made this offseason, but it's, you know, just a problem really keeping me from seeing them as a real title contender. I believe the Knicks are currently 0-7 against the top 2 seeds in the East. You know, the Cavs and the Celtics. Some of these games are blowouts. Ain't really gonna spend too much time on that, but y'all just let me know, like, do y'all really see the Knicks as contenders or, you know, pretenders? Because you gotta perform against top teams in the league to really be, you know, a contender. You know, these are gonna be the teams you're going up against in the playoffs. And when the Knicks have played playoff caliber teams this year, they really haven't shown up because that's not even including the record against teams in the Western Conference. And I don't think they're doing too good against those teams either. So I don't know, man. Like I said, I like the additions the Knicks made. I feel like they playoff tested from last year. They got a nice team, but that is kind of concerning. Them playing the Celtics and the Cavs. It's not so much that they're losing. It's kind of the way they losing, in my opinion. Like, you getting blown out against these teams is kind of showing that you might not be on that level. Which I would put the Knicks probably a tier below the Celtics for sure, and the Cavs. I don't think the Knicks are like one of the top teams in the league, but they definitely are like probably that second tier for sure. But I mean, damn, like 0-7 is, come on now, we got to do something there. So I don't know, man. Y'all let me know if it's just a regular season stat or is there some meaning behind it. I think it is, but yeah, man. I just wanted to get a quick little video touching on those things out, man. Like I said in the beginning, make sure y'all definitely subscribe. Best way to support the channel. Like I said, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment anything y'all want to talk about, any sport thing related. Don't have to be NBA. Comment what you think about these topics, you know. And then, like I said, stay tuned with social media channels, social media pages we got. That's Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Y'all follow us on there. And yeah, man, until next time, y'all be safe. Appreciate y'all for tuning in today.